Good morning and welcome to our Jack Robinson Early Education Center. The name, everybody always refers to it as Jackie Robinson, but the name refers to the former executive director of what at the time was Lynn Economic Opportunity, Jack Robinson. So we're thrilled to have you here. We're very excited to welcome back Secretary Tutwiler, Dr. T, as we like to call him, back to his old stomping grounds. And from what I understand, you do love to come back to Lynn, so thank you for coming. And also to welcome Commissioner Kershaw to Leo. We're thrilled to have you here. We hope that there will be many future visits as well. I'd also like to acknowledge Senator Creighton, Representative Dan Cahill, Representative Jenny Armini, Mayor Nicholson, and we also have Ruby Murphy here from Congressman Moulton's office. And did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. I said Mayor Nicholson, right? Okay. Sorry. And I also want to recognize Mass Head Start Association Executive Director Michelle Hamowitz. Thank you for coming. And I'm also happy to acknowledge the Leo team, Jerry Bertrand, who is our Director of Early Education and has been with us for 32 years and has announced her retirement, but not until January, so we have her till January. Our Assistant Early Education Director, Mary Ellen, why? Oh my God, I just went blank. Maybe it was for that comment about needing a step stool. Mary Ellen Jenkins. We also have our Director of Health and Nutrition, Marilyn Perry. And I just want to thank our Center Manager, Cassandra Jackson, and for getting us ready for this wonderful event, all the educators in the building, the content managers who provide this curriculum and support for the building. And I also want to thank Lisa McFadden, Director of Development, and Communications Manager, Julie Haybeisen. I'm actually on vacation. And then I turned back into pumpkin. So they've been doing all of this while I've been down on the Cape. So thank you for all that you've been doing. We are thrilled to have this announcement here. The Head Start Supplemental Grant supports all of our educators, our content area managers, and our social emotional behavior management team that we have here at Jack Robinson, where they serve 90 children. And we also serve an additional number of children, total of 352 children overall from birth to age 5. We're also very excited to announce that we've begun demolition on the renovation of our Broad Street building, where we will take the 5 classrooms from this building, in addition to the 8 at our Blossom Street site, and we'll be adding 2 more. We'll be serving an additional 38 children in that building, 270 children. So we're really excited about that. We'll have you all back when that happens. And I think that's all I have to say. And then I am handing it off to Secretary Tutwiler. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Say again?
Oh, you have to talk close on that.
I have to talk.
You have a good phone.
Can everybody hear me all right?
Oh, yes.
Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Do I need the mic? I'm going to turn it off and set it right here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that feels so good. It is so wonderful to be here this morning with all of you to make this incredible announcement. Again, I am Pat Tutwiler, Secretary of Education, and I typically, when I introduce myself, I like to say newly appointed secretary, because we know that with newness comes forgiveness and understanding, and so I'm the newly appointed Secretary of Education. And while I see a lot of familiar faces, just want to introduce myself more formally by sharing that I spent 22 years in the K-12 space. Started as a teacher in Boston, and then the final stop for me in K-12 was right here in this incredible city as superintendent. Now I have the wonderful honor of serving as your Secretary of Education, newly appointed, 6 months in the role, but really enjoying it. Before I say a few things about the announcement, I want to thank Brigitta and the entire Leo family for hosting us this wonderful morning, and also just thank you for the incredible work that you do for our youngest learners and with families in the city of Lynn. I've seen it firsthand, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. I also, as you introduced our elected officials, want to thank them for their incredible support and for their partnership. They are critical partners in this work. We don't get to the finish line without your support, so thank you all as well. This morning, today, the Healey-Driscoll Administration is proud to announce that we are awarding $15 million in fiscal. Now see, that messed it up. So we can't have the money part drown out our truck going by. I would say it. Yeah, $20 million though, 50. Today, the Healey-Driscoll administration is announcing $15 million in fiscal 24 in supplemental state grants to 28 organizations across the Commonwealth that offer early Head Start and Head Start programs. This funding, yes. This funding is an investment, a deep investment in the state's early education and care workforce, and an investment in the great work that Head Start programs do across the state, as I mentioned earlier. In my role as superintendent, as I mentioned, I had the wonderful opportunity to see this work firsthand. I've actually been in this building before to see the wonderful work that teachers are doing with students, and this is a case across the state. Additionally, I don't think people know this, a personal share, my older brother, my big brother, Tim Tutwiler, has dedicated a good number of years of his career to work in a Head Start program in a school in Kansas. And for those of you who have the optic in your mind of presumably a person my size working with children this small, I want you to know my brother's 8 inches shorter than I am. So it's a little different. For folks who don't know Head Start programs in Massachusetts, they support over 11,000 students annually, and they employ approximately 4,000 early childhood professionals. They're giving these young students the high-quality early education and preparation that they need for their future, while also helping low-income families work and drive our economy forward. The Healey-Driscoll administration is committed to centering equity in all that we do. Head Start is a critical part of that work, helping to break the cycle of multi-generational poverty through comprehensive educational programs that meet children's emotional, social, health, and nutritional needs every single day. Additionally, this investment allows low-income parents across the Commonwealth to access the the critical child care that they need. These grants to 28 organizations will directly invest funding into 168 cities and towns across Mass, into their workforce and the families that call them home. This state funding will not only support our children, but the needs of the whole family. It's an investment in our early childhood educators and local communities, promoting quality education for all young learners. It's an honor to be here to support lifting up these grants today. Thank you all so much for the invitation, and I think I am now passing it along to my friend and colleague, Commissioner Kershaw. Thank you. I'll turn the mic off.
All right. Do I need the mic? No. Probably not. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Secretary. We are so fortunate to have a true early education advocate in this spot as Secretary, and we have been so grateful to have your support, so thank you. So I'm so pleased to be here too, and Birgit and I have been following each other around public service and state government for 15 years, and some of our most important work together was around providing immediate access to child care for homeless families, something that I think we are still working very closely on and a really important part of the Head Start mission. So I also want to recognize and thank our local elected officials, our state elected officials, our federal partners. This is truly an example of how we are going to heal and stabilize and ultimately transform early education and care, which is that it's going to require a partnership among our local leaders, our state leaders, our federal partners, our community service agencies. And We have a moment in early education and care right now where the recognition of its value and its importance to the economy, as well as to healing in general from the pandemic for our kids and our families, is essential. And Head Start is the ultimate two-generation approach. We are supporting the economic mobility of our families while we are supporting the next generation to be prepared for school and life success. These grants provide such an important investment in the moment that we have right now. So we'll be able to provide additional supports for our workforce, recruiting and retaining qualified staff to work in our classrooms to make sure families have access to these essential services, and perhaps most importantly at this moment in time, investing in the social, emotional, and behavioral health of our kids and families. And so we are so pleased to be able to provide these supports in partnership with our Head Start grantees. It's really an honor to be working in partnership with all of you. I want to recognize, we actually have a lot of EUC staff members here. I can't keep them out of the office when we come to a Head Start program, but I particularly want to recognize Michelle Pauline, who is our group and school age supervisor, and Maria Martinez, who is our regional director for this area. They are always the most important EUC staff in any of our site visits. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for your partnership and for having us, for all the support from the community, from the legislature, from the municipalities. And I have now the most important honor, which is to introduce Aaliyah Tilliston, who is a member of the family services manager for this and has an amazing story to tell about the relationship between you and Head Start. And as I said, it's the ultimate two-generation approach. And I think one of the things that we really rely on and learn from in terms of our partnership with Head Start is elevating the family voice. And so we know that everything we do has to be centered on the experience of families and bringing their voice to the table to make sure what we do is with families and lifts their voice up. And so I want to ask Aaliyah to come up.
Do I need a microphone? I don't know how I'm going to follow that up. 15 million. See what I can do. I'm a little nervous. My name is Aaliyah Tilliston, and I'm the Family Services Manager here at Leo. My journey at Head Start started 11 years ago as a parent, and I had a voucher for my daughter Zara to attend this center at the time because we were homeless. I was happy that my daughter had received that spot because I knew Head Start was a great program for kids. I knew Head Start was a great program for kids. What I didn't know at that time was the impact that it would have on me. When Zara started attending Head Start, I was assigned a family service worker. Then they were called family advocates. But her role was to support me as a parent, which was connecting me with community resources. A lot of them I was unaware of at that time, partnering with me to create goals and work towards things that were meaningful to me, as well as advocating for myself and for Zara. At that time, I had also been doing some volunteering in the classroom, which prompted a lot of conversation about whether I had considered teaching before. This time that I enjoyed volunteering in the classroom turned into a goal of applying for a substitute teaching position here at Leo. Once I achieved that goal, I worked towards educational goals. I started taking 1 or 2 classes at North Shore Community College, and I was fortunate enough to have Leo cover the cost of those courses. While taking classes, I continued to pursue my professional goals here at Leo, and I went from substitute teacher to assistant teacher and eventually lead teacher in my own classroom. I also received my associate's degree. I continued my education at Salem State, still having the cost of my courses covered by Leo, but I realized that while I love being in the classroom, I felt a connection to work with families because of Head Start's impact on my own life. I applied for this family service worker position so I could work with families, and that led to me applying for and accepting a position as the family services manager, in addition to taking on the role of the chairperson of Leo's DEI team. Now, I did at a point in my journey meet a wonderful partner who encouraged me and also supported me to keep going, but it's not about him. If you know him, don't tell him I said that. And a year and a half ago, I became a first-time homeowner. This spring, I graduated from Salem State with my bachelor's, and I do plan to continue my education at Salem State this fall. I know that for me, this started because of my child being accepted here at Leo Head Start. And when I go into classrooms here, I see a lot of teaching staff who started as parents. When I attend managers' meetings, I see a lot of faces who share similar stories. I say that to say I know that Head Start works, and my story is just one of many. And that's why days like today are important, not just for the many families and children that we already service, but for the many children and families that we haven't even met yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaliyah, for once again sharing your story. It makes me tremendously proud that we've been able to do that for you and for your family and for the many families that we serve here. So thank you for closing us out. And with that, we are going to have a tour of the facility and the playground, so you will get to meet the children and the educators. And before we do that, we have a little something for the secretary and the commissioner to step forward.
Oh my goodness.
That's Aura.
What's your name?
Aura.
Alonzo? Nice to meet you. Thank you.
You can shake his hand too. I know you worked hard on it. Look, and you can say hi to them.
Just take her to the
So you can shake her hand as well.
Very good.
So yeah, the kids
Nicely done.
They are lovely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we just asked them why they believed Head Start was important, and we've written some of their responses in there.
Can't wait to
And they
look
made the
at that.
bouquets. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you all so much.
The other stars of our show.
Yes.
So thank you all for coming, and for those of you who would like to what's that?
A group picture.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we should have got it with the kids. Wow, look at this.
You did so well earlier.
I know.
I couldn't jump in the puddle and get it.
And there's one minute there was something about mean teacher. Maybe Pat
Assuming you're the tallest guy here,
It's
right?
hilarious. So cute. I can't believe they pulled it together.
Oh my God, I know, and we gave you like the little. I'm behind you.
Oh,
Where's mine? Oh, good. Where's my stool? You need a stool?
no, Mary Ellen mentioned that they needed that from me, so we could have shared
We
it.
could share. Okay. Like we have all these years.
Does the rest of the Leo team want to get in the shot?
Yeah.
I know you like to be
I was going to introduce you too, but I like everyone's saying.
Yeah, but we have. I can go in front.
Yeah, come with me. It's kind of embarrassing. Coming in, you see, I told you I can't keep them. Come over here. Yeah. I have heels on today, so we're both not too short. You do too. Oh.
1, 2, 3. Gorgeous. Thank you, everybody.
Oh my God, I love you, Jimmy.